I think you'd agree that closing bank accounts for political reasons is the sort of thing you'd experience in North Korea or something. It's sinister, it's Stalinist, it's totally wrong. But how terrible must it be to suddenly not have a bank account? Now, our next guest, funnily enough, as we've been mentioning, NatWest, publicly owned to the tune of about 36%, because we had to bail it out in the 2008 financial crash. That owns Coutts, so Coutts is partly owned by you and me, so they owe us more explanation than they've given us. So our next guest had accounts at NatWest, 7 years of impeccable banking. Suddenly they closed her down, and she's still not entirely sure why. A warm welcome to Alexandra Tolstoy. Thank you for joining us, Alexandra.
Thank you very much for having me.
Tell us exactly how did you learn you'd had your accounts closed down? What happened?
So 3 months ago, I had a very summary letter saying your accounts are going to be closed down. No explanation. Called my manager, didn't even answer my calls, didn't reply to my emails. And then obviously you just get in a panic, like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to? So I was completely focused on that. I'm a working parent, single parent of 3 children. I was working really hard. I did manage to open something online, and then I had to fight with NatWest to extract all my money. And then since I've done that, I've now really wanted to get to the bottom of why did they do this? And they write the most unbelievably arrogant and rude messages saying, we have no reason to speak to you. We have no obligation to tell you why we've shut your account down. I mean, it's as if it's such a huge consequence to have no account. I've lain awake every single night. It's sort of semi-hysterical, like, how am I going to exist? How will I pay my rent? How will I pay my mortgage? All sorts of... You just can't exist without a bank account.
You can't have credit cards, can you? You can't have debit cards. So just going to the shops becomes an impossible task, right?
Yeah, and things like utility bills, you are literally not allowed to pay in cash. So what do you do? And I have a mortgage. How do I pay it? Anyway, I then did get some very good advice, and I went and did these SARs to get this, request the data that people hold on me. And I found that a data company, a big one called WorldCheck, which supplies all the banks, held completely false data on me, saying that I lived in Monaco. You could check the electoral roll and find that I live at Wandsworth.
If only, eh?
Exactly. And they said, WorldCheck said, oh, okay, sorry, we'll delete it all. So as likely as they had condemned me, they then deleted it all. So I then wrote to NatWest and said, look, I know that you've, used this data, classifying me as a PEP, but it's false and it's been deleted.
That's a politically exposed person. And why did they even consider you to be a politically exposed person?
This is the data company, on the basis of 3 Daily Mail articles and a Russian article from Kommersant, which is like an extremely, Russian propaganda newspaper. Mm-hmm. Pretty ironic. And so, but once I'd said it was, then NatWest said to me, well, no, we don't consider you as a PEP, but we're not going to tell you why we closed your accounts. So now I'm fighting with NatWest to get my data. I submitted my request a month ago. They've now gone beyond the time limit. So I've appealed to the IOC and complained to them. And I've written to Alison Rose, who we've all heard a lot about, many, many times, saying, can you release my data? And they just don't answer. And I just find it, if I ran my business like that, not answering my clients, being rude to them, expelling them, holding their money, I would have no business. So,
well, I think what's happened to you is a disgrace. I think what's happened to Nigel Farage and quite a few other people is a disgrace. To wit, the government is considering a law. I don't think they should be considering it. I think they should be bringing it in as soon as possible, and it should contain 2 clauses. One is you shut down anyone for anything other than financial reasons, and we'll suspend your licence and maybe even take it away from you. So you won't be able to operate as a business. And 2, and this is important and refers to your ordeal, that they must give the reasons they're closing their accounts. It's out. So right now, I mean, you're not the only person I've heard this. This is what happened to Farage. They just
and on the world checklist, there are 5 million people. So we know 1 in 12 people in Britain is on this list for some spurious reason, nothing to do with money laundering or anything like that. Just their views that they, I don't know, spoke to someone or did something.
And you said that you've managed to find an alternative bank, which is more than Nigel Farage has.
Mm-hmm.
So did you say, I mean, my jaw dropped a little bit then, that when you found another bank, NatWest having said, were you at Coutts or NatWest?
No, NatWest. I'm not.
Okay. So NatWest. Shame you weren't at Coutts. It would have made it an even better story. No, but sorry to be facetious about it. It's not. It's a very serious situation. But did you say that when you found another bank account and said to NatWest, "Okay, you're closing me down. Can I have my money?" They made that difficult?
Very difficult.
Why? So why?
I wrote to them at a human level. I said, look, I'm a single parent of 3 children. You're putting the lives of 3 children at risk. I mean, it wasn't, for me, it was a lot of money. It was £12,000. And they made it so difficult. It took a month to get it out. And I had to fight and write endless emails. They forgot to send the letter, or it didn't arrive in the Royal Mail. You know, having expelled me online, they couldn't send me the information online. They had to send it by the Royal Mail. And of course, it never arrived. And I think, actually, to be honest, it was only by going to the media that they then did cooperate and release the money.
Yeah, so what they effectively said to you is, we don't want your business, but we want your money. We won't give you your money back. I mean, did they explain why they were making it so difficult for you to get your own money back?
Exactly. I said, this is my money. I've worked so hard. You've taken interest from me. I've been always in credit. And I said, I just want to extract it. And they said, this was in the last few days of the account. They said, no, but you have a daily limit. You're not allowed to. And forget this stupid daily limit. You're expelling me. You're the ones getting rid of me, not vice versa. So just let me take my money out. But they imposed this ridiculous daily limit. I
mean, I want to put words into your mouth. I should say I don't want to put words into your mouth, but I actually do. So we've got some indication that the government is going to stand up to all of this, and never a day goes by without Jeremy Hunt or Rishi Sunak saying this is wrong, this is sinister, we can't have it. But they're only talking about introducing a bill, and that actually, so far, the terms of that seem to say that serial offenders, in terms of banks, may even lose their licence. I've been saying that I think banks should lose their licence, to have their licence suspended if they do it once. If they do it twice, they have their licence taken away. This law needs, because it's about freedom of speech, freedom of expression, this law needs to be very tough. Would you not agree?
I absolutely agree. And in many countries outside the EU, it is a human right to have a bank account, and I completely agree with that. We've been forced to live in this digital age. You know, it's not like we really had a choice, and therefore it's like saying you all drive an electric car, but we're not going to provide the facilities. You know, we have to have of course, you're money laundering, then okay, fine, but for any other reason, it should be a human right.
And does this all kind of arises from a relationship you had some time ago with a Russian oligarch? Is that?
Well, that's what I'm guessing, because they're so arrogant. They won't tell me. It's like, you know, as if you go to court and told you committed a crime, but we're not going to tell you what that crime is, and you're just going to go to prison for a while. They won't tell me. So I'm guessing that it is because of that. But he left the country 8 years ago. We're not in communication. He's never sent me a payment. So I don't know why they would suppose that or make that a ground.
Well, Alexandra, thank you so much for talking to me, but I'm gleaning that you're not going to give this fight up. You're going to make sure that NatWest explain exactly why they closed your account, yeah?
I'm definitely I'll come back to you when I've got to the bottom of it.
Well, you do that. Thank you very much. Great to talk to you, and I'm glad you're kind of back on track now. At least you found another account, which is more than Nigel Farage has yet.